I'm not sure that there actually is a partisan divide. If you talk to people who, and I don't mean to sound at all condescending, but working with members of the Supreme Court across the entire ideological spectrum, I know that there is enormous respect for the A.C.L.U, not only from Justice Ginsburg, who worked for the A.C.L.U before she became a federal court judge, but also you may be surprised from Justices Thomas and Scalia, who never worked for the A.C.L.U before joining the federal bench, but who really respect what we're trying to do, even if they disagree on particular issues. I have a letter that I cherish from Justice Scalia, who is a friend of mine, but this was when we had first met, and he said something about, I really respect your principled adherence to, and he always has to have a little dig. So it was, I really respect your principled adherence to your open paren, sometimes incorrect, close paren, maybe it even said often incorrect, positions. But I know that you sometimes do that at great cost in terms of publicity or economics, in terms of support, but you're doing it because that's what you believe the principles call for. And if you look at articles that have been done about Supreme Court justices and which briefs they read and give credence to, the weight, there's just an overwhelming support for the conclusion that after the U.S. government, the A.C.L.U has the greatest credibility, including in the chambers of the justices who can be expected to come out differently because they believe that we are making the strongest possible argument that would have to be refuted in many cases. But not all, all of them agree with us on some issues. Likewise, if you talk to members of Congress, some of the most conservative Republicans, really, they all work with us on some issues. They all want our support where we agree. And given that we are strictly, I haven't had a chance to say this yet, strictly nonpartisan, and nobody would dispute that. We never have and never will endorse or oppose a candidate, an official, a party, a group. Rather, we take positions on an issue-by-issue basis, issuing praise or criticism as the case might be. And there's literally nobody with whom we don't strongly agree on some issues and strongly disagree on others. And fortunately, we have enough influence that that they all want us to work with them on the issues where we agree. So I think if you talk to the real, and there's also, I have to say this, there's also real difference between how people operate in direct interactions with, let's say, our lobbyists or our lawyers or other leaders versus what they say in their fundraising material. I mean, I've had this discussion quite a few times with A.C.L.U, who's the chief counsel of the American Center for Law and Justice, the litigating arm of the Christian Coalition. And we collaborate on so many issues: free exercise of religion, freedom of speech for anti-abortion protesters, even some of the post-9/11 privacy issues where many conservative groups have been allies of the A.C.L.U. And yet, you read his fundraising letters or you listen to his radio show, and he's, demonizing the A.C.L.U. So I think that to some extent, I'm not a Pollyanna, but I do happen to see the glass half full. You can't be an activist without that attitude. But I think it has to be the inflated criticism that you hear in some public arenas, such as, let's say, televised debates or fundraising letters, some political speeches where people are playing to their own audience, trying to get a rise out of them, that I think you have to see the A.C.L.U bashing as a compliment, that people see us as being very effective, that we sometimes use that effectiveness on issues that they disagree with. And so attacking A.C.L.U can become a synonym for attacking gay rights, reproductive freedom, religious freedom, you name the hot abortion, women's rights.